Happening today, the state Supreme Court weighs the future of California's gig economy. It comes in the form of a voter-approved measure some workers now call unconstitutional. Today in the Bay's Ginger Conejero Saab joins us live in San Francisco this morning. And Ginger, this really all boils down to whether people and delivery rideshare workers should be considered independent contractors.
That's right, Laura. Good morning to you. And both sides really have quite a bit at stake here, and that's why we can also expect a turnout of gig workers who are opposing Proposition 22. They're set to rally later today outside the courthouse where Proposition 22 and its constitutionality will be argued here in San Francisco. But let's take it back a bit. At the heart of this, at the center of this all, is Proposition 22, which is a ballot-approved measure. It was set on the ballot in 2020. It was sponsored by big gig firms like Uber and Lyft, rideshare companies, as well as DoorDash and Instacart. It allows those big companies to treat their drivers and delivery workers as independent contractors. And it was a response to a California law that codified a Supreme Court decision requiring companies to classify gig workers as employees. Proposition 22 passed with 59% approval from voters, but drivers and delivery workers have continued to challenge its constitutionality. Today, the state Supreme Court will hear arguments on both sides, and where that decision eventually falls can impact the gig economy tremendously. Later today, as I mentioned, hundreds of gig workers are expected to rally outside the courthouse to show their opposition to how Prop 22 works in practice. One rideshare driver that we spoke with has been driving for 8 years now. He says he's seen things change quite a bit. He says what is offered in Proposition 22 is not enough to protect contract workers like drivers, and he believes it's simply unconstitutional.
If there was a $10 fare, Uber and Lyft before, they started with $2 for what they do, which is the background stuff, the leadership and the software, and $8 to go to a driver. Now, if that's a $10 fare, Uber and Lyft now take $7 to $8, and the driver gets $2.
Well, Uber specifically has responded to today's hearing, saying in part, quote, forced employment would be devastating for the thousands of drivers and couriers who turn to Uber for flexible work and the millions of Californians who would see major service reductions and cost increases or lose ride sharing and food delivery entirely. That rally is set to start outside the courthouse at 12:30. There's also a caravan that is expected to arrive in San Francisco from other parts of the state, Laura. So this is really something that we see impacting not just the people involved, but also the consumers as well. We'll continue to monitor how this all develops and bring you updates on air and online. Laura?